Hey, welcome back. I'm Wes Wood, the Income Guy, and today we're helping you get to know your income options. So far, we've talked about the most conservative options and introduced you to some of the more moderate tools that can be used for income specialists. Now let's talk about those moderate tools in more depth, and we'll talk more about those aggressive options. Again, like all conservative options, most tools in the moderate category are contract-based. That includes corporate bonds, as we've mentioned, but it also includes something called preferred stocks. A preferred stock is a shared stock that pays an income return at a fixed rate of dividend. Plus, similar to a corporate bond, if you hold that, it has a par value, which makes it to where it's not as volatile with markets. Then there are tools such as business development corporations, or BDCs, and real estate investment trust, better known as REITs. Now, these options don't have a par value, but the underlying assets do. So what about annuities? As you may know, an annuity is a financial contract between you and an insurance company. But there's many different types of annuities, which can be categorized by risk and how they're going to get your returns or your earnings. For instance, a fixed annuity is designed to generate income based on a minimum interest rate for the life of the contract. It's the least risky, most conservative option. Whereas index annuities pay interest based on the performance of a specific market index. For instance, the S&P 500 index. While this gives them more growth potential, it also makes them riskier, which is why they fall into the moderate box. But what if you want even more growth potential and you have the right risk tolerance for it? Are there income options that may suit you? And indeed there are. And these options on the right, common stocks, mutual funds, speculative real estate, and variable annuities are going to be considered the most aggressive because they carry the most risk. These are the investment tools that most people use throughout their working lives. And that really makes sense because when you're working, you got years before you're going to retire, your priority is to grow your nest egg. And these tools are growth-based tools. But once you're over 50 or so, you're transitioning from the growth stage to the income stage. And that's when a strategy focused on income can make more sense. But does that mean all the options in the aggressive category are off the table? Not at all. And I'm going to talk about more of that in just a bit. But right now, here's your chance to order your copy of my timely report, The Fundamentals of Retirement Income. And it's free in your complimentary retirement income kit. And you can get one by visiting retiretv.com or by calling my office directly at 615-826-5749. But now, let's welcome back income specialist David Scranton. Dave, good to see you again.
Yeah, you know, Wes, it's interesting. You mentioned the conservative category and the moderate category. In this past year or so, it seems like some things in the moderate category have done the best. I mean, namely the business development companies, the BDCs, and the real estate investment trusts, the REITs.
Yeah, we've definitely seen that. Even though they fall into the moderate category, meaning there is more risk by definition than maybe a corporate bond holding to maturity. But the interesting thing is that with a well-diversified portfolio, maybe using some of these BDCs, REITs, and also corporate bonds, even though BDCs and those types of instruments are, by definition, a little bit more aggressive, they mixed in a rising interest rate environment, ironically, it's going to reduce the risk of losing money or value in a rising interest rate environment. So it's just another one of the tools that you can use for an income specialist.
Get you diversified. Makes sense, you know. And
right.
what I found particularly interesting in hearing you is that when you think about the annuities, you know, I always say the annuities are really like the good, the bad, and the ugly. And because annuities, different types, fall into each of those three categories. I mean, do they not?
They do, and because they fall in the conservative, the moderate, and the aggressive ones, these can be some of the most complex and, quite frankly, misunderstood products in our industry. And in some cases, there's good reasons for that, but in a lot of cases, maybe some of the media pundits and some of the advisors out there that are perhaps trashing annuities for everybody, they may not really have a good understanding of how they work because they're not an income specialist. And also, maybe they don't even offer those types of programs. But in the world of income, whenever you're looking to put an annuity inside of a portfolio, there's a lot of things you really need to understand to make sure they're best suited for you. And in some cases, annuities unfortunately can be used and oversold, perhaps because somebody that's presenting themselves as a financial advisor isn't really licensed to do all the other types of income types of positions. But they can be used in certain situations to get a decent rate of return and provide some income.
Yeah, and ironically, the aggressive types of annuities, the variable annuities, are the ones that often have high fees, sometimes 2 to 4%. And it's almost usury to charge somebody 2 to 4%. But that doesn't mean that you have to get out of the stock market to go from growth to income, right? I mean, there's plenty of strategies where if you know how to do it, you can keep some of that money in the stock market and still significantly increase the dividend component.
Exactly right. Investing in the stock market, you can do it different ways. You can invest for capital appreciation, or you can invest for dividends. And investing for dividends is in the stock market can be done, and a lot of advisors that are comfortable taking a little bit more risk and it's suitable for them can be a great component to provide not only a good income, but also maybe a growth potential. And if we happen to go into a market that goes down, well, even those dividend stocks may go down in value, but if we're still receiving a steady dividend check from those companies, we can then reinvest those dividends at a lower share price, therefore naturally dollar cost averaging with the dividends from the stocks. So a lot of misconceptions out there that if you're shifting from growth to income, that means you're getting all out of the market, and that's just simply not the case. Many people that want to provide income in a portfolio and income specialists should be using and utilizing dividend-paying stocks as a part of that portfolio.
So essentially, you're getting income as a priority, but you're really not locking yourself out of the growth, which is kind of a win-win for a lot of people.
Absolutely, and in a strong economy, it can be a very good fit. But yeah, Dave, thanks again, and please stick around. But coming back, I'll talk about why having the right income strategy is just as important as having the right income tools. I'm Wes Wood, the Income Guy, and you're watching the Retirement Income Show.
I'm David Scranton. During my career, I found that most baby boomers have done a great job growing their retirement savings, yet many don't know how to convert their savings into steady income. And that is why I built the Retirement Income Store, to help hardworking Americans preserve their assets and establish steady streams of income.
If you're age 55 or older, our free Retirement Income Kit is for you. Learn the fundamentals of investing for income. Discover potential hidden risks to your retirement plan. Visit yourincomekit.com to download your free Retirement Income Kit. A fiduciary is someone legally obligated to act in your best interest. Doctors, lawyers, and some financial advisors are fiduciaries, but not all. When you work with Wes Wood and his team at Wood Financial Group, you are working with fiduciaries. They help clients create customized investment portfolios based off their retirement goals. If you're ready to work with a fiduciary, visit retiretv.com and schedule a free, no-obligation conversation with Wes or a Wood Financial Group advisor.